So we do have to discuss our breaking news for today. It's not going to be FC Barcelona focused. We are going to be talking about Real Madrid. As we continue through this YouTube channel, and you guys join me on this journey. I'm not just gonna like solely talk about FC Barcelona. I mean, like that's gonna be 98% of the content, but for like the other 2 or 5%, it is going to be about other teams. And one of the teams that we are going to be discussing is going to be about Real Madrid today because that is our rivals. And so it has been reported by a lot of sources, and especially coming from Mateo Moreto, who is a very credible source out there in Spain. He has claimed that Xabi Alonso is going to be the next coach for Real Madrid. So here is going to be the contract details. Xabi Alonso to Real Madrid. The Spaniard has decided to join Real Madrid. He will meet Bayer Leverkusen in the next few days to inform them of his decisions to leave. The deal is in the final stages with Real Madrid, and he is one step away. And then it says here, Xabi Alonso has decided to join Real Madrid, and he continues to say that the deal is almost done, meaning that Carlo Ancelotti will no longer be the coach of Real Madrid. And I do think that, you know, it's quite clear that Real Madrid and Florentino Perez, they want to see an upgrade, because what they saw in this season was an embarrassment. They can't handle the fact that FC Barcelona were too dominant over them, and they were clapping them, they were like bending them over and assaulting them and treating them like that's their woman, which is true, is facts. FC Barcelona, we are their daddies, and that is just how it is. But let me be freaking professional, right? Let's talk about Real Madrid. Let's talk about what we could expect to see for this team for the future. Like, why is Real Madrid struggling so bad right now in this season, and why are they so keen on trying to sign Xabi Alonso right now? And there's still like 6 weeks, no, there's like 4 weeks left in this season, and they still have a league to compete for. You know, that like they want to add this type of media noise into their system, into their ecosystem, and they're only 4 points below Barcelona. Are they really trying to give up already? Loser mentality. That is a loser mentality. But let's keep it professional. I'm gonna try my best to speak about Madrid in the most professional kind way, and I want you guys who are Real Madrid fans to maybe just look at this video and be like, okay, this was a good video. Let's listen to what he has to say. So let's talk about that, right? It says here, according to a lot of sources, and especially coming from Fabrizio Romano, he has stated that Brazil expect Carlo Ancelotti to be ready to start the new chapter as head coach at the beginning of June. The Brazilian Federation are set to offer a record salary for the Italian coach, making him the best paid coach ever for the Brazilian national team. Timing now depends on Real Madrid's exit process. So Brazil is super ready. I mean, like, obviously, right? Because Brazil currently don't even have a coach. They fired their coach like 2 months ago because of the poor performances that they had during the international break back in February. And so, yeah, that's just how it is, right? Like, it's crazy to see that somebody who has brought them Champions Leagues is going to be leaving, after a season of winning potentially no trophies. So let's talk about Real Madrid's weaknesses and what they had to go through this season that made them, try to understand that, Carlo Ancelotti needs to leave. So I do have a couple of notes. This is my own personal opinion. You guys can have your guys' own personal opinion, but I watch Real Madrid. Okay, I'm gonna tell everybody here that, yeah, I do take my time out of my day to watch Real Madrid. Now, I'm not like super freaking like on point with it, like with FC Barcelona, but I do watch the game. Like, I kind of glance here and there. And so, yeah. Okay, so point number one, defensive injuries and loss of midfield control was for sure one of the biggest reasons why Madrid were not strong this season. Whatever happened with Barcelona and the relationship with Sergio Busquets when he left, the fact that, when we saw Barcelona struggle after Sergio Busquets left, it is the exact same thing with Real Madrid and Toni Kroos. Real Madrid needed Toni Kroos because Toni Kroos was a master in terms of ball progression, retaining the ball, interceptions. He was the rotator, the maestro, right? He was the maestro for the midfield. And it goes to show that you cannot have a team that just has a bunch of like athletic midfielders. You need players who are very technical and with high football IQ. Toni Kroos was one of those players. And since Toni Kroos left Real Madrid struggled. And that's just how it was. Same thing happened with Barcelona. When Sergio Busquets left, it was a disaster for Barcelona. And Xavi Hernandez had to like figure out, okay, how are we going to combat this? They signed freaking Oriol Romeo. Okay, yeah, hella funny, right? They signed Oriol Romeo, and they thought that he was going to be the answer. I thought that he was going to be the answer, but he ended up not working out, and that's why we had to introduce a double pivot of Christian and Frankie De Jong. And with that, and we did okay. We won no trophies, and apparently the same thing's gonna happen with Real Madrid, losing their best midfielder and winning no trophies. Same thing. Ha ha ha. Right. So now who's laughing? Who's getting the last laugh? Okay. So point number 2: key defeats. Madrid have lost against Barcelona in the Copa del Rey final. Huge blow, nail in the coffin. They got knocked out from the Champions League by Arsenal. Huge blow, nail in the coffin. And then they had like a lot of damaging losses in La Liga that led towards them like really questioning themselves. Are we competitors for the league this season? Right? And then point number 3, their current system is broken due to defensive instability, and there's a lot of midfield gaps. They for sure need to they need to sign some midfielders that have more technicality in them. So a midfielder that would make a lot of sense for them would be Florian Wirtz. I'm not going to go too into detail about why Florian Wirtz, why he would fit at Madrid perfectly. I mean, like obviously Xabi Alonso is also going to follow him, but this is not the conversation I'm trying to have. But yeah, they need somebody more technical in the midfield, somebody who is very much like Toni Kroos, right? You're not going to find another Toni Kroos, but you need somebody as close as him. Try to get as close to him as possible, kind of like what we're doing with Sergio Busquets and Marc Bernal. Marc Bernal is the closest to Sergio Busquets at this very moment, and so you better bet that we're gonna for sure try and implement Marc Bernal into the preseason, make him ready for the season, and have him get paired up with Pedri. It's funny how like I'm trying to like talk about Real Madrid. I'm over here getting very Barcelona focused, but it is what it is. That's just how my brain works, right? Okay, so the defensive line definitely does leak goals. They have leaked 14 goals in the past 8 matches. No clean sheets whatsoever. The midfield has been lost due to control, and that's because of Toni Kroos, who retired back in May 2024. We talked about that before. And then you have the league losses that we talked about, right? A bunch of nails in the coffins, right? Like 0-4 loss to Barcelona, 1-2 loss to Athletic Bilbao, 1-2 loss to Real Betis, 1-2 loss versus Valencia. They got clapped and slammed by Barcelona 5-2 on January 12th. And that's it, right? Like that's basically it. It's the key games and these major blows showed that this Madrid team right now is not competitive whatsoever. It's kind of embarrassing to say that, because you would assume that a team like that would be competitive with the type of quality players that they have. But I do think that the problem that they have, it is the coach. And so what they're doing right now makes the most sense. And to bring in somebody like Xabi Alonso could really like shake things up. And here's the thing. I find it pretty freaking beautiful to know that Xabi Alonso will join Real Madrid, because finally, for the first time, I think that we're finally going to see a Madrid team that will play football, that will want to come to you and be the protagonist. Because this whole time, and in the past, like I would just say 15 to 20 years, this Real Madrid team don't play football. They just don't. They sign the best big time players, and then they just pray for the best. And they try to also have some sort of impact with the refs, VAR, the media. They try to pressure the refs, and you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not trying to get into that type of conversation. Let's keep it professional, because I'm not trying to be this hater over here, and I want you Real Madrid fans to maybe accept me as your guys' analyzer for the games. Okay, so I digress. Let's go back to the sporting situation between Xabi Alonso and Real Madrid. Okay, so we have the leaky backline. We have the lack of midfield control. They can't perform in big games. They got knocked out in the Champions League. All of these things have to be fixed. Could Xabi Alonso be the man to solve all of this? Okay, so let's do that, right? Let's talk about Xabi Alonso, and let's talk about his football. Xabi Alonso at Bayer Leverkusen has done a phenomenal job. He deserves to have this Real Madrid job, because Xabi Alonso has shown that he can take any team to a good level. And the way that he does like to play is in a 3-4-2-1. Okay, so now we're gonna just switch it to like a. You guys don't have to see my face. There you go. We're just gonna leave it here. Since now we're talking about Xabi Alonso. Xabi Alonso plays in a formation of 3-4-2-1. 3 defenders, 4 midfielders, 2 attackers, and you have the one at the top, right? You already know. I think you guys can pretty much understand who's going to be that number 1 at the top and right in front of the 2 10s. And I think yes, I do think that we're going to see a 3-4-2-1 at Real Madrid, because whatever coach you do hire and whatever formation that he was working with before, he's going to bring that to his next team. We have seen that with Hansi Flick. Hansi Flick has always worked with a 4-2-3-1. He brought it to FC Barcelona this season, and it worked. Okay, you have to go with whatever the coach knows and understands. Xabi Alonso understands the 3-4-2-1 system. What does that mean? It brings you a balance of defensive stability and attacking flexibility. The defensive structure is a back 3 with wingbacks that drop, and they form a back 5 when defending. That is the reason why Xabi Alonso has been so successful at Bayer Leverkusen. It is because Bayer Leverkusen are a great defending team, and they can score a lot of goals. I would say this season that we're in right now is not the best, but in last season for sure they were like one of the best in terms of like doing that type of strategy. There's also a lot of attacking flexibility. Give me a second, I have to drink some water. All right. Yeah, so there is also a lot of attacking flexibility. 2 attacking midfielders to operate in the half. They operate in the half spaces to link with the striker and exploit those central areas. Okay, we have seen that with floating verts, and it's amazing, right? I kind of wish that floating verts could maybe have that chance to join FC Barcelona, but I think that that's going to be the next player that Real Madrid would want to sign with Xabi Alonso coming in. The wingbacks at Bayer Leverkusen, phenomenal, right? We've seen Jeremy Frimpong, who has been operating on the right side, creating width, creating overloads. Trust me, all of this is going to come full circle by the end of this video, because I'm going to be referencing one player that Real Madrid are also going to want to sign. And I think that's going to be the higher priority when you compare it to like any other signings, even floating verts. You guys probably already know who Madrid are going to try and sign this summer. That's going to make a lot of sense, and especially for the system of Xabi Alonso. So Xabi Alonso likes to incorporate high pressing, aggressive defensive schemes. He likes to orchestrate a lot of build-up play, innovative use of players, a lot of tactical adjustments. Like for example, Jeremy Frimpong, wingback with freedom to attack like a winger. We have Diaby, right? He roams essentially from the right wing to act as a secondary striker. So it's very interesting to see what Xabi Alonso has been able to do as a coach and coaching Bayer Leverkusen. So he took over Bayer Leverkusen back in October 2022, saving them from relegation battle. By 2023, they were challenging for the Champions League qualifications and succeeding in the Europa League. Standout victory, 3-0 win versus Bayern Munich back in 2024, showcasing the effective balance that Bayer Leverkusen still contain today. And man, it's gonna suck to see Bayer Leverkusen lose their best coach, but it is what it is, and it's destiny. It's destiny for Xabi Alonso to eventually coach Real Madrid. I honestly thought for a second there that he was going to choose Liverpool, because Liverpool is also one of his big time teams that he has played with when he was a player. But with Liverpool doing well with Arne Slot, and with them also recently winning the Premier League, which, you know, congratulations to Liverpool, right? Congratulations to Liverpool for winning the Premier League. They're not looking or interested in trying to hire Xabi Alonso right now. So all lanes point towards Xabi Alonso joining Real Madrid finally, and we'll see if they end up being successful. So despite Bayer Leverkusen always trailing behind Bayern Munich, up until today, I would just say that, you know, he has done a great job with Leverkusen and making them a title challenger for whatever competition they were always trying to compete for. And I think that if you give Xabi Alonso the correct players and high quality players like at Real Madrid, he'll do phenomenal things. So let's talk about that, right? Now this is where things get very interesting. One of the things that Alonso loves to do, and what he has done so, I would just say, innovatively is not, I don't even think that's a word, but something that he has innovated a lot is wingbacks, right? Using wingbacks and having them effective. Not a lot of teams like to use wingbacks, surprisingly. It's not really that popular, but we still see some teams here and there. Sometimes Inter Milan do that. But Bayer Leverkusen for sure is one of the teams that show that they are a team that operates with wingbacks, and players like Grimaldo and Frimpong have been the key attacking outlets to that team, and why Bayer Leverkusen have been so successful. They have a combined total of 9 goals and 9 assists. This is something that they have produced back in the 2023-2024 season. And okay, like reminder, and if you guys do not know, Grimaldo has recently been linked to FC Barcelona. Okay, so we're going to talk about that in a different video. I'll probably upload that tomorrow after the match between Arsenal and PSG. We'll talk about Grimaldo joining FC Barcelona for 35 million euros. Okay, it's kind of crazy, right? That Bayer Leverkusen are about to lose so many players, and they're going to lose their coach. Like, they're going to get whooped this summer. They're probably potentially going to lose Frimpong, Grimaldo, Florian Wirtz might go somewhere, Xabi Alonso is going to go somewhere. It's a wrap. So yeah, they use Grimaldo and Frimpong on the wings in a 3-2-4-1 formation, and they push very high. They score a lot of goals. They always try to connect with Palacios as well. It's one of the players that's in the double pivot system for Xabi Alonso. It's very interesting, and Xabi Alonso likes to incorporate the wingbacks to sit high, aggressive counter pressing after turnovers, and then rapid counterattacks. So looking at all of this, right, looking at all these tactics and his way of thinking of how wingbacks should be working, what does that say for Real Madrid? Okay, because when we ask, does Real Madrid have material to incorporate wingbacks? Like, do they already have those type of profiles at Real Madrid? I will tell you, no, they don't have that. They don't have true like wingbacks, like a Frimpong or a Grimaldo, like what we talked about before. I would even go as far as to say that Rafinha is almost like a wingback, in my opinion. But he's a left winger. But knowing that, right, what does that mean? Could we see Xabi Alonso take Frimpong with him to Real Madrid? Is that something that is possible? I don't think so. I think that one of the players that Xabi Alonso is going to try and sign at the moment he gets over there to incorporate the 3-4-2-1 formation effectively, he's going to try and bring in Arnold Trent. I don't know if I said that backwards. Arnold Alexander Trent. Trent, basically, the right back for Liverpool. Trent will literally help Real Madrid get into the 3-4-2-1 system because he is a wing back. I know that he has always played as a right back on paper, but if you look at him play, and you saw how he was played with Liverpool, and especially in the past 4 or 5 years. Let me drink some water again. Trent has always showcased abilities of being a wingback, and I think that if you bring Trent to Real Madrid to play as a wingback with Xabi Alonso as a coach, you have something golden there. You have something there. So what would that look like? What would it look like to have Trent in the starting 11? Because we have a report stating that Real Madrid want Trent in June. His current contract expires in July, meaning that Real Madrid will get Trent for free. It's crazy how Madrid get all these players for free. Trent for free, and Mbappé for free, right? The only thing they can't get for free is the trophy, La Liga and the Champions League and the Copa del Rey. But the club will have to negotiate with Liverpool. I don't know why, if he's going to be a free agent, but it is one of the players that Real Madrid do want. So I can see it from a mile away what Madrid are trying to do for next season and how they're trying to prepare. So Xabi Alonso for sure heavily relies on wingbacks. Wingbacks provide the attacking width, defensive coverage, pressing abilities, counterattacking threats. Trent does all of that. And if you guys have looked at my X profile, I'm going to link it down below. Go follow me on X and make sure to retweet, like whatever I put out there. You guys probably already saw what I would what would the 11 look like with Trent in it. So I'm gonna place it on there, right? Here it is. Here's going to be the picture. Alonso's Real Madrid in a 3-4-2-1 system. We have Asensio, Militao, and Rudiger to form the back three. Already that's very tough. Keep in mind that the reason why, going back to what we were talking about with Real Madrid, they have gone through so many different injuries. Okay, and they have lost Militao, they have lost Carvajal, ACL injuries here and there. It's been ugly for them. It's one of the reasons why Madrid have been unsuccessful. So bringing back Militao is a huge plus for this Madrid side, and it would allow them to have the access to form a back three at the back with Militao in the middle, Asensio on the right, Rudiger on the left. Very, very, I would say, Barcelona-like so far, because we would have Kubarsi, Arujo, and Inigo Martinez at the back if we were to do this. But we have Asensio, Militao, and Rudiger, and then the four-man midfield behind the two central attacking midfielders, the two tens, would be Trent on the right, Tchouaméni middle, Valverde middle, Camavinga on the left back position, or like I would just say in the full back position for the left side. Camavinga can be a fullback. We have seen that time and time again. He's very effective in the final third. He can feed those balls to Vinicius. Trent on the right side, feeding those crosses into Mbappé to Vinicius. He would be lethal, and Real Madrid will be so, I would just say, effective on the wings. It's going to be very scary. And one of the huge pluses from this is, like we talked about how, okay, like Real Madrid, they want to sign certain players and stuff like that. And the last player that they should be thinking about is Trent, because Trent is only going to make their defense even worse because they concede so many goals. But this counters that problem. You're going to be having 3 total center backs at the back that will be able to cover for the lack of defending from Trent, because Trent is such an attacking-minded player. He's an attacking-minded player that I would just say a right winger that just so happens to be a great defender, a solid defender, just okay, right? So it will combat that. It would really level everything. I think Xabi Alonso would really go for that. It makes the most sense. Trent on the right, Camavinga on the left. Then you have the double pivot of Tchouaméni and Valverde, ball winners. And then right on top of them is Vinicius and Rodrigo, and Mbappé as the number 9, the position that he has been taking so far this season. This has to make the most sense. Now, I know, right? I know some will have questions, right, about how, what about Arda Güler? What about Bellingham? Shouldn't they be starting? Isn't Arda Güler a player that Xabi Alonso would like? Because Xabi Alonso is somebody who likes to retain possession, counterattack, play very attacking football. He wants his teams to be the protagonist. Would somebody like Arda Güler work? And I say yes. I think that it would work. Arda Güler would really function under Xabi Alonso's system. He won't go anywhere. I know that he barely played, but with Xabi Alonso coming in, it would reignite the future of Arda Güler at Real Madrid. And so if he were to be in the 11, or let's just say they rotate, because Real Madrid are going to be playing as many games as Barcelona do next season, I can see rotations happening between Güler and Rodrigo. Güler can play in those positions, to play in the channels as a 10. That is his position. That is him. So you see how it works for every player. Every player finds their perfect position. With Trent, with Camavinga, with Arda Güler, with Bellingham as well. I mean, we can switch out. Let's just say, for example, Tchouaméni. Bellingham can play on the 6th position. It's not a problem. Or you can just say, what, screw it. We're gonna have Vinicius rested, and we're gonna have Bellingham for Vinicius. Or let's just say that, screw it. If Mbappé needs rest, just put Bellingham on Mbappe's position, because Bellingham has played as a number 9 before, kind of like a false 9 or like a false 10. He did that last season, so he can definitely play within those areas, right? So it works. I think that it really does work, and Real Madrid do have something here. Do I think it's going to be better than FC Barcelona? No, it's not. Whatever they do is not. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. Hansi Flick has the most perfect system. We are fabulous. We are amazing. We are entertaining. We are beautiful. We are the most beautiful club in the world. Nothing can replicate what Barcelona do. And you're showing it. We're seeing it right now live. And we're only going to get better, because the moment we sign, that we're going to sign Musiala and we're going to sign some other players, we're going to get better. So screw it. You know what I'm saying? Forget about those ideas that, finally Madrid will be better than FC Barcelona. We'll see, bro. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's gonna, for sure, at the end of the day, all trolling aside, at the end of the day, I do want to see Madrid do well, because when Madrid do well, Barcelona get even better, and that is because of the competition, right? That's just how men function. If you see your ops getting better and they're becoming stronger than you, you're going to want to train harder, and you're going to want to get better. So the competition is great, right? The reason why Barcelona were so on point back in 2011 was because Real Madrid were exceptional. Ozil, Xabi Alonso, Ronaldo, Benzema, Di Maria. Khedira, Marcelo, Pepe, Ramos. Like, that's one hell of a team, bro. Like, that is a world-class team. And Barcelona had to be on top of their toes at that time, and that is what made them so great. So yeah, I kind of wish that Real Madrid upgrade themselves and Xabi Alonso comes in and makes Real Madrid play better football. It's gonna be amazing. The Galácticos will be entertaining. Football is back, bro. Football is back, and that is thanks to Hansi Flick. Because of his high press, high risky football, everybody's gonna want to emulate that. Everybody. That's just how it is. And then you're now gonna start seeing huge cause and effect everywhere in the world of football. Goals everywhere. 5-4, 3-2, 5-3, 3-2, 1-2, 2-2. Amazing. So that is it, right? That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.